Hey everyone, this is my first time uploading a video to YouTube, so please bear with me as I muddle through this process. So this is the first time since 1990 that I have gotten back into buying action figures. I think I was about 12 years old the last time I bought a G.I. Joe figure, and 30 years later, here we are, me buying more G.I. Joe figures, although this is the classified line. Currently, I have pretty much most of the G.I. Joe classified line, and I have decided to use Beachhead as my first figure review, and this is also my first figure review. 2020 has been an interesting year so far for everyone in so many different ways, and one of those ways is the new G.I. Joe classified line coming out. At first, I don't even think it was in my consciousness, just with everything else that was going on in my life. And then I started seeing like pictures of the G.I. Joe classified line. And once I saw pictures of Beachhead and pictures of the Cobra Trooper, I was definitely sold on wanting to get these. So I started toy hunting, which is another new thing for me that I started in 2020 that I've really enjoyed. At first, I was kind of like bumbling my way around, looking for Beachhead and the Trooper, and it was very maddening because this was around the time of like between August 1st and the 14th. And so they were street dated at several stores, and then other stores had already sold out of them. And at one point, I was going to like every store in my area. And thankfully, I live in a very Target rich area. And I was just going store to store looking for them without any luck. And then I found out about Pop Finder, and then I started using that. And then by using that, I was able to find out that they were about an hour south of where I live. There were some stores that had some. I was able to rush out there, and that's how I was able to get Beachhead and my first Cobra Trooper. I got them together at the same time at the same store. One of the Target employees was really nice, went into the back, got them for me. I was super ecstatic to get them in my hands. And so here I am today reviewing this and talking about it in a way that I never thought I would. And I'm totally loving this line, totally loving, specifically one of my favorites so far is this Beachhead. And I'll get into that and why I wanted to review him. So I know the other Wave 1 has got like some of the armor bits that some people don't like. And I'll get into that as I review those figures as well. But thankfully, Beachhead doesn't have any of those shiny armor bits. They did him very well in this lovely green and even light green, like you can see on the mask. He's got like a nice light green going on in there. And the brown in his vest and the black. And then they give him like the black or the brown pants with the black accessories. Like the straps for, I think this is probably some like ammo clips. This is for his gun. This is for his knife. And one of the great things about this Beachhead is it's a great hallmark and homage back to the 1986 Beachhead, which was definitely one of my favorite characters back then. And then like the update of the Balaclava with the dual tone of the greens is really nice. It adds like a great detail. Like all of the detail work in the head is amazing. And then like you have like the little like pouches or like the pockets, and then like on his sleeves there. They just add so much detail into this character. I know some people have complained that he doesn't have the camo pants, but I don't think the camo pants probably would have worked as well because of all the black that they added to it. And if you had added camo from an aesthetic standpoint, it probably would have just been a little bit too busy, which is why I think they did a great job of staying with the black. The brown, the nice thing about the brown and the green is they're earth tones, and him being a ranger, it looks like he's just like coming out of a forest or in a very jungle environment doing his thing, hunting cobra. And with the earth tones, they go very well together, which is why obviously they make camo out of these colors. But I think they did such a great job with it. When he's on my desk, like the great thing about his mask is like his eyes just like really draw you in. This is actually the blue-eyed variant of him. I also have the brown-eyed variant as well. And I love the character so much that I wanted to get one of each once I found out that there was the two variants. So of all the things that I love about the character, like the articulation is great, being able to pose him and put him in great poses. Usually I have him kind of like walking, holding his rifle. Here's an example of it is right here, where like this is usually how I have him on my desk, kind of just standing there. This is how I usually pose him, but you can get into so many different poses, which is wonderful. And so the biggest issue for me personally was his accessories. Now I love his accessories. Like he's got this gun. I guess it's supposed to be a Nerf gun. I don't collect Nerf guns. I'm a little too old for that, and I don't have any children. So, but the gun looks pretty cool. He's got his knife here. It looks really cool. It's got some nice detail going on. He's also got a very small crossbow, which is really cool looking. And then he's got a little handgun. I guess this is another Nerf gun, as everyone is talking about. He's got a nice backpack. Once again, a very nice homage to his original backpack from 1986. It's got some great detail in it, even if it's just the one color. And then he's got his red beret that in 1986 was just a little crumpled thing that was kind of wrapped on his shoulder, but now we actually have like the whole beret, and the beret fits pretty well on his head. The backpack, this is actually, mine doesn't always stay so well in, but it's got a nice molding to the back, so it doesn't stick out as much as the other ones, which I'll show in different videos from Wave 1. His green gun goes right there in his holster. His knife goes in his sheath, which is great. The crossbow fits really nicely in his backpack. Maybe it doesn't fit as nicely in this one. Oh, there we go. And it fits in nicely there and attaches to his back, so it looks great. Take that out, and his gun fits really well in his hand. Now, as you see, like they're all green, and that was my biggest issue with this character was the green guns. And then that got me into doing something that I never thought I would ever get into, and that was, well, I knew I needed to paint the guns and do something with them, because as cool as they look, green just doesn't work for me. It kind of takes me out of like the vibe and part of the realism that they're going with this line. And as you kind of saw a little bit with the other Beachhead that I pulled out, I did color this one. This is the original one I got, and I had decided to customize the guns and his crossbow, and I'll show you how I did that, and I'll talk about like why I chose the colors that I chose and the process behind that. If I can ever get this gun out, that might be a problem, because I think the paint has kind of stuck to that a little bit. So let's look at these guns while I kind of explain why I did the paint job. So this is the handgun. Here, let's move that Beachhead out of the way a little bit. So this is the handgun that he came with. I decided to paint the top black to kind of match and echo a little bit Duke's gun, because Duke's gun has a very similar color pattern. But I thought the black would go great with the green, since he's a jungle ranger, and he's already got black on his vest and his knee pads and his part of his outfit. So that's why I decided to go with that. Some of my paint job is a little bit smudged, and being a perfectionist, that bothers me a little bit, But with this, I haven't decided if I want to paint the other set or not. I actually just might keep it this way, just as like, hey, this is the first time I did it. It might not have been perfect, but it's good enough and I actually do like it. And most of the time I'm not going to be close enough like looking at like it and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. But mentally I know I did that. And then the knife, I just colored the blade black. I think the knife turned out really well for the most part. And I just kept the same thing. If I was just gonna paint it, I was gonna paint it mostly one color, which is the black. And then the crossbow, I decided to paint part of the crossbow black and then keep the other part green. I also decided to keep some of the handles green because I knew at the time, this is the first time I had customized any of these, that the fingers might actually take some of the paint off, and a little bit of the paint kind of got scraped off with the gun. Let me see if I can show it. Towards the muzzle, you probably can't see it as well, but not too bad, thankfully. And so I decided to paint the crossbow, and I think the crossbow actually looks really well in his backpack when it's plugged in, because instead of seeing like this bright green, all you see is this black and it blends in very well. So like if he was in the jungle, it would blend in like he was in the shadow and it wouldn't stick out. And I like how that looks. Actually, I'm really happy that I painted it the way that I painted it because I think it looks great. And then from the side, you can see the paint, the green as well. And I think that's fine because I think once again, like the shadows and the dappling of shadows on a person kind of echoes some of that in this backpack now. And then for the gun, there are times when I left more of it green, but the more I left green, the more I decided I didn't like leaving that much green. So I just left a little green on the handle and a little green left on the scope. And then I painted the sights. Now you can see that I put in some blue, and there's a specific reason why I did the blue in the muzzle and along the magazine here, because I painted it that way specifically to reflect how the gun looks on his box. Now if you see in the box, he's got the same blue there and then on the magazine, and so that's why I did it that way. Once again, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and so I can see like the imperfections that I did with it, but I also still think for like my first time doing it, it came out pretty well, and I'm really happy with the overall look of it, especially like the muzzle being blue like that. I think that that's a really good echoing of what the art looks like on his box. Now I know on the art on the box, the gun looks like it's kind of grayish, and I had debated whether I wanted to paint it gray. I don't know if that's gray or if that's supposed to be black, but it looks more grayish. I decided against doing the gray, even knowing gray and green look great together aesthetically. I decided against it because he has no gray on his body. And he had black, and so I figured I think black would look better overall, and so that's why I went with just doing the black and not doing the gray, although I did kind of contemplate doing the gray. And I think I'm pretty happy with really how it comes out, especially like when I see him holding it, and it's not sticking out like the green is. It's sticking out. It blends in so much better this way. Like I just couldn't, for whatever reason, the artist in me just couldn't handle the green, and I knew that I had to customize these. And there's one other figure I did some customizing on with their weapons, and I'll show that in their review. I hope to be doing reviews on all of the characters just to do it, just to have fun with it, enjoy the process of it. I'm not going to go over his articulation so much. Most people kind of know what the articulation are for these, but just being able to kind of like get more lifelike poses as they're holding their guns like that is so amazing to me. Makes me think that for these characters, right, it's like I've grown up, and then with the classifying line, I feel like now GI Joe has grown up for adults as well. And I'm not to say that like the 3 and 3/4 inch figures aren't great. I know that there's people that love them, but for me personally, like with the articulation, being able to get more lifelike poses, being able to put them in different poses, and I think I'll probably do some photography with these. I have some ideas floating in my head of what that'll look like. I really am super excited about future characters and a lot of the characters that they've already done. It's just such an amazing line, and every time I buy a new figure, I'm kind of blown away artistically by what they have done to these figures to update them, bring them into not only like 2020, but also bring them to like collector sensibilities. And someone like me who has like such a passion for art, I have a background in art. That was my first major in college before I changed it. And I love art, I love sculpture, and I feel like these do like a great job of kind of like embodying the greatest things that you can do with action figures for $20. It's so amazing, which is why I have two of these and why I got so many of them so far. And the toy hunting has been a lot of fun for me, although I found a way with Pop Finder to do it super effectively and efficiently. So I was able to get all of the Cobra Island Troopers with how I was able to proceed with that, and I was able to get Baroness on the first shipment that arrived in my area. I was able to get in line and be able to pick her up, and I'll do her review later on. But right now, like I think these figures are great. I hope people enjoy them as much as I do. I don't know exactly what's going to go off the Cobra Island line. I heard that there's rumors of them being discontinued, but I think that well, I hope that Hasbro continues to produce more of these so people can get more of the Beachhead or the Cobra Trooper or Baroness that haven't been able to get them, because I think they are such awesome figures. And this line definitely, I think, exemplifies just how amazing these figures can be. And I can't wait to see the new ones that they release with these. He's got some really great detailing with his vest with some like marks going on there, and it's just a really good figure. Just the overall detail that they put into it and the sculpt is just amazing. I just wish they had put more work and effort into the guns so I didn't have to color them, but I actually enjoy the process of painting them myself and kind of getting into that. I had to watch a bunch of videos on how to paint miniatures, which was an interesting thing in and of itself. But I love how this gun came out, and I'm really happy with like, it's a little bit of work. It took me a little while, like a good part of a day to kind of learn how to paint these weapons. But I'm really happy, and I hope they continue to kind of paint some of the other weapons, just because sometimes I'm not necessarily happy with how they look. But that's my own personal preference. Everyone's going to have their own ideas or opinions on it, and I think that's great. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much.